Love. What do I love and why? Your love is directed only to the real substratum or self. You happen to love the qualities in one simply because they belong to the substratum you love. You love because love is the real nature of the self, who you are, and you cannot help loving even for a moment. Love is the feeling or sense of oneness with another. If you correctly understand yourself to be beyond body, senses, and mind, your love for another also will be for that self in him, because there are no two selves, and love is its nature. If your understanding is incorrect, you love the incorrect self in him, and as a result of that incorrectness, you hate others. Genuine love absorbs everything into you, and then duality dies. But in conditioned love, duality persists in giving and taking. Even this, if directed to the Guru, goes deep into you, takes you beyond duality, and is transformed into objectless love. But what is the nature of love in its application? If you love another for his or her gross and external qualities alone, that love is of the lowest type. But if you love the other knowing that it is the life principle alone in the other that you love, then that love becomes sublime. And lastly, if you love the other knowing that it is that which transcends the attributes of body, senses, and mind that you love, there the otherness vanishes at once. That love is the most sublime and is the absolute itself. Are there stages in the progress of one's love? In the lowest stage, there is a love for objects. Ego is predominant. Consideration only for yourself. Activity of taking only. And in the second stage, the love for self, for the ego, though much attenuated by equal consideration for the object also, then there is consideration both for yourself and for the object of your love, the activity of both taking and giving. In the highest stage, there is love pure or objectless, prema. No ego, but selfless love alone. No consideration for yourself at all, but only for what is loved. The activity of giving only is there. All these are expressions of the impersonal I, ranging from the gross to the absolute. Love has three distinct and separate stages in the course of its progress from the mundane to the ultimate. Let us look at them again in more detail. In the lowest stage of love, you love another only for your own sake. That is, only for something that the other does to make you happy and for nothing else. That other is discarded if the desired pleasure is not forthcoming. This sort of love is called kama, and the ego is most predominant in this. The only activity here on your part is taking and not giving. In the second stage, it's a little more elevated, a little less selfish and demanding of mutual consideration. Here you expect something from the other to make you happy, and at the same time you do not like the other to suffer on that account. But in return, you are also prepared to do something to make the other happy. This sort of love is called sneha. It is not directed to the lower self alone, and therefore the ego, by its operation, gets much attenuated. Here, the activity is both that of taking and giving. In the third stage, the highest and ideal of true love, here you do not want any return from your partner in love, and you do not love your partner any the less for this. You are prepared to do everything possible to make the other happy, and your partner's happiness is your happiness. Here the love is selfless. This is called prema, and it is the ultimate. Here there is only giving and no taking. The ego is virtually dead. Thus it can be seen that it is the same love, which is the absolute, that expresses itself as these three, and that it is your real nature. If you take away the limitations from the first and second, the love stands as pure, selfless love, which is prema. What do I love? The life principle can easily be proved to be the changeless consciousness, which knows no birth or death. Your real nature is changeless consciousness. Therefore, it is clear that you love only yourself, even in the form of other objects or persons. Hence, the Upanishad says, "A man does not love the wife for her sake, but only for the self in her. And the wife does not love the husband for his sake, but only for the self in him." You see, when happiness comes, the mind dies. The self is objectless love or peace. And love for the little self is degraded compared to pure love of the true self. It gets more degraded when it becomes this self-love, this ego self-love. This gets further degraded when it becomes love for objects. But still love is there. So get back to it in its purity. To teach your real center, the I principle, you have to retrace the whole course from objects to the self in the reverse order. If, in your love of objects, you are able to emphasize love, you will easily get to the love aspect or the peace aspect of reality. Just as in your consciousness of objects, when you emphasize consciousness, you get to the consciousness aspect of reality. You can love only the absolute, represented by the life principle in others. You can love nothing else. All worldly love is mere bargaining and has always its opposite attached to it, ready to express itself when the consideration anticipated is in any way obstructed. But a Vedantan's love alone knows no bargain, and naturally knows no opposite. It is perfect and unconditional, and always in the form of giving and not taking. Therefore, even to love one's own wife or child in the best manner, one has to become a Vedantan first. All talk of love in this world is nothing but unadulterated fraud. So know yourself first. Then alone can you love anybody or anything truly and unreservedly. What is the test of love? In your relationship with another, if you can never even dream of any kind of ill feeling towards that other, that relationship can be said to be bordering on pure love. What is that which you cannot help loving? Atma, the true self alone. As it states in one of the sacred texts, in self what's found is quite beyond all mere affection which is felt for outside objects in the world. Affection felt for outside things can be expelled, but not so liking for the truth of what self is. That can't be given up or changed. When love is directed to personal qualities, that love is worldly. When it is directed to the life principle consciousness, it becomes sublime. When that life principle is examined, it will be found to be nothing other than pure consciousness, which is the Atma. Then love is transformed into the absolute reality. So let us inquire and examine this a little more closely. You say you love a man. Who is the man you suppose you love? Is it his body? Of course not, because when he dies, you fear even to go near his dead body. Thus you see that your love has really directed to the life principle which was abiding in that body. When that life is examined, it is found to be nothing other than pure consciousness, which is only one. Man is incapable of loving anything other than that consciousness, which is the Atma, the true self. Is there anything redeeming or enriching in domestic love? Yes, but not in all types. The love of father and mother for the child is selfish because instinct and relationship of the flesh make it selfish to the core. Sentimentality is always connected with objects. If what you call love produces a limiting feeling, it is certainly no love. But the love of husband and wife can be made selfless because they have no such things in common before marriage, and instinct does not come into play. If you succeed in loving your partner as yourself, it clears the way for the love towards any other individual likewise. Thus your love easily becomes universal and therefore objectless. This is reality. You will need the touch of the Guru in the last stage, and you instantly become a Jivan Mukta. This was the path adopted by the celestials who are the ideals of chastity and husband worship in ancient India, and they attain their goal smoothly and effortlessly. Where is subject-object relationship in love? When you say you love yourself, you yourself and love stand as one. So also when you love another, you become one with the other. The subject-object relationship vanishes, and the experience is one of identity. In order to love thy neighbor as thyself, you have to stand as Atma itself. The disappearance of subject-object relationship is a natural corollary of the experience of love. So also of the experience of knowledge. This actually happens in all experiences in the plane of the relative. Instead of taking note of the sublime truth, after the event, the ego tries to limit, misrepresent, and possess it. Whenever any doubt arises, refer to the deep sleep experience. There is no subject-object relationship there. You see, love means becoming one with the object of your love. When both are one, there is no one to give and no one to take. It is only in loose language or in degraded love that such transactions take place, where the personal identities are not lost. Real love is advaita, or non-dual, and nothing else exists beside it. If love can be said to give anything, it is love alone, and that in its fullness, leaving no trace of itself behind to claim to have done so. In taking also, you surrender the whole of your personality to the object of your love. In either case, the doer dies, leaving behind love supreme. But is there any type of love in the world which may be considered ideal and accepted? Yes, the love of the Guru for the disciple is the solitary example. Even the love of a mother for her child is not disinterested, as long as she does not love any other child in the same way. No credit is really due to her on that score. She loves only her own flesh indirectly. How do I love my master more? If one feels that he is not able to love his master as he desires, it really means that he still loves his master deeply, but that he is not yet satisfied with the love he gives him. That is all. This dissatisfaction with the depth of one's own love for the master is the nature of true love, and it will never disappear.